एक दो
मेरा सवाल यही है कि तालिबान से संपर्क को लेकर क्या जो पहले हमारे राजदूत की पहली मुलाकात हुई थी उसके बाद से क्या और कोई ऑफिशियल मुलाकात हुई है या कोई चैनल ऑफिशियल खुला है कि तालिबान से ज़रूरत पड़ती है तो उससे बातचीत करें? थैंक यू।
यस मैम, 1 second. Get the microphone in, please.
I have a question. Secretary Blinken has approached India.
Afghanistan specific?
Yeah, to allow its bases in Northwest. You must be aware about this.
Can I take that as part of the
Used for
US
airstrikes
element perhaps
against-
rather than not Afghanistan? I'll come back to your question.
Yeah, sure,
Okay. Okay. Yes, similar. Okay, so I'll come back to that one later on. But if both of you, anybody else on this question, otherwise this is the same question, right? This is the comment about over the horizon, something like that. I read a media report. Okay, let me just answer. देखिए, देवी शक्ति के बारे में हमने तो कहा ही था पहले कि इसके बारे में अभी किस तरह से चल रहा है, और आप पूछ रहे थे कॉन्टैक्ट के बारे में। देखिए, देवी शक्ति के बारे में जब तक काबुल एयरपोर्ट वहाँ पे ऑपरेशन रिज्यूम न हो, मुश्किल है कहना कैसे निकालेंगे, क्योंकि हमारा अभी फोकस यही है कि काबुल एयरपोर्ट ऑपरेशन रिज्यूम हो जाए, फिर उस पर आसानी होगी लोगों को लाने के लिए। तो मेरे पास अपडेट उस पर नहीं है, पर इस पर हमारा नज़र है और इसमें हम अटेंशन रखे हुए हैं कि जैसे ही कुछ हो पाए तो कुछ बाकी जो इंडियंस हैं या फिर बाकी अफगान्स जो आना चाहेंगे। कॉन्टैक्ट के बारे में आई एम नॉट अवेयर कोई, और उसके बाद हमारे एम्बेसडर के बाद कोई फॉर्मल ऐसा कोई कॉन्टैक्ट रहा है वहाँ पे। और इसके बारे में मैं ये कहना चाहूँगा कि ओके, लेट मी मेक अ कमेंट ऑन दैट. Look, I think we've seen some media reports on this issue. You're talking about the may I hear your question correctly, because I didn't hear the question the first time. What is exactly your question?
Has approached India to allow its bases in Northwest to be used for airstrikes against Afghanistan.
Okay, what is your question?
This was the report.
Yeah, I heard that. Yeah. And you said?
Yes, the question was that Secretary Blinken has spoken about, being deeply engaged with India over the horizon support. Is that part of Indian policy to do this?
Okay. Look, I think there's some confusion on this issue, so that's why I thought I'll ask you again. As you are aware, we continue to be engaged with the US and other partners regarding developments in Afghanistan. I would not like to respond to media reports on this issue because that's what I've seen. And I would actually request you to go through the actual conversation in the US Congress Foreign Affairs Committee hearing, which is slightly different from what we were hearing about the media reports. And I don't have actually any further information to share on that for the moment. Related question, please.
I'm Shahid Abbas from the Informist Media. So there's an understanding or a pact with the US to allow India to allow US use its military bases. Now, will that not amount to surrendering its?
Could you repeat the question? I didn't hear you.
Question is that there's a pact with US to allow
with India.
No, India and US, by which it is allowing US to use its military bases. Will that not amount to surrendering its sovereignty?
I'm sorry, I don't know how to respond. I'm not aware of what bases are we talking about. I am not aware of this. Is there any specific media report that you're referring to?
Media report, not only media report. I think there is.
No, I think there are two aspects. We have the foundational agreements that we have signed with the logistics support with the US. There are 3 of them. Okay, that's very different from what media reports I'm reading. I have seen the conversation in the Foreign Affairs Committee hearing, and it doesn't seem to indicate any of these things that you are saying. So I don't have any comment to make on that aspect. Okay, moving on.
Sir, Prime Minister's visit to US has been announced. So
Yes.
how significant it is? Any elements you can talk about? When is he leaving? When he's coming back? Is he going to meet the people there?
Flight
in
plans.
terms of the community and the business?
Flight plans. Same question. You can waste your question there. Okay, please go ahead. If it's related to this, please, let's take it together. Yeah, please.
PM is also going to have a bilateral with the American president. So any major announcements, especially, is there any agreements expected to be announced?
So your question is major announcement, agreements. Yours was about the logistics. Okay. Anything else on this one specifically? Okay.
Since US has moved away from its traditional approach on sharing technology, nuclear technology regarding AUKUS,
Oh, okay, okay.
So
That's not really PM's visit. Can
so,
we just...
so question is,
yeah.
as PM is meeting with PM will be meeting with Biden, so will India seek the same kind of technology from the US? Because
Okay, let me come back to AUKUS. Okay, just give me, I think it's a different topic, and I think people... Okay, let me just talk about the Prime Minister's visit, okay? As many of you know, we have put out a press release. Many of you are aware for the details at the American side. So you would have seen our press release earlier this week about the Prime Minister's visit to the US. As mentioned therein, he will participate in the first in-person Quad Leaders Summit in Washington on September 24th. On September 25th, he will address the UN general debate of the UN General Assembly at its 76th session. While Prime Minister is in Washington, he will also have a bilateral meeting with President Biden. We also look forward to bilateral meetings with other Quad leaders, time permitting, as well as bilateral meeting with some other leaders while he's in New York on September 25th. Of course, we will share more information about the program elements as we go forward. I'm afraid I can't give you the flight plans and other details that you have sought, but we will. I assure you, we are aware of the interest in this important visit next week, which has these three elements, and we'll try to share with you whatever we can as we move forward, both in terms of logistics as well as in substance. So please bear with us. We'll try to see if we can get your briefing done before the visit in some format, etc. Major agreements you mentioned, I'll come to that. You mentioned, let's not prejudge the whole thing. I mean, the objective of this is the first in-person Quad meeting, so I'm not sure this is an bilateral meeting, as you're mentioning, perhaps while he's there. But this is not sort of a thing that I have anything to share on agreements or announcement. But the Quad has its own dynamics, so let's see what comes out of that meeting. I don't want to prejudge or comment in advance. You had something else on that? Yeah.
President Biden.
Look, as I said, the program elements are still being worked out, and we will certainly share with you. For the moment, I can confirm 24th is the Quad, and the 25th is the UN General Assembly debate, Prime Minister's participation. We will try to, see how the other meetings fall into place. Yes, please. Oh, who have I missed? Can we start here? No, I think
Sir,
you have the microphone?
yeah.
Give me a second.
Sir, I'm Som from ABC Australia.
Yeah.
Australia has decided to pursue nuclear-powered submarine under a new defense partnership with US and UK. Would you like to comment on it and provide
this
Indian
comes
government?
back to the AUKUS, the AUKUS has been...
Yes. So it's the Indian government reaction, sir.
Look, let me make a category. I don't have anything to share on this for the moment, okay, on the AUKUS or related stuff. I know you were asking about, will we take it up? These are. I don't think this is a remit of this briefing about our defense technology cooperation with the US, which is quite strong. But whether these are speculative, and I certainly beyond my presentation today. Sorry, please. Oh, sorry, missed you there. Apologies.
Just a clarification.
Okay.
Not a question.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Last evening, Peter Dutton spoke to Rajnath Singh before announcing this and informing him that this was on. Did the Foreign Minister of Australia, did she call Mr. Jaishankar, and did Scott Morrison speak with Prime Minister before the announcement?
Look, I think Prime Minister of Australia did speak with our Prime Minister, and I think Prime Minister put out something in the public domain about his conversation there. About the Foreign Minister, I will have to confirm that. I think it did take place, but I'll just have to reconfirm that. But the Prime Minister one, I know it was put out, and I think a call from the Raksha Mantri also came from his Australian counterpart. Okay, sorry, you had your hand up earlier.
सर क्वाड की मीटिंग से पहले चाइना ने रिएक्ट किया है, कुछ मीडिया रिपोर्ट्स हैं, और उसमें उन्होंने कहा है कि ये मीटिंग भविष्य के लिए, इसका कोई भविष्य नहीं है और इस तरह की मीटिंग को हम बिल्कुल भी सपोर्ट नहीं करते हैं। और ऑफ कोर्स उसमें उन्होंने इस पे कुछ कहना चाहेंगे चाइना के रिएक्शन पे? आपका
सवाल नहीं है, मतलब मैं क्या कहना चाहूँगा,
क्योंकि मीटिंग अभी हुई नहीं और उससे पहले ही सारी चीजें।
देखिए, दिस इज द फर्स्ट इन पर्सन क्वाड, एक पहले हो चुकी है वर्चुअल, तो भविष्य नहीं है, मतलब मैं क्या कहूँ इस बारे में। Let me just share with you some of our perspective on Quad. Maybe that would be a better response than commenting on what China said. I think इस हफ्ते काफ़ी मीटिंग्स हुई थी जिसमें विदेश मंत्री हमारे एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर डॉक्टर जयशंकर ने कुछ विजन हमारी क्वाड के बारे में कहा है. इफ़ यू परमिट, आई विल कोट फ्रॉम इन इंग्लिश. He highlighted Quad is a platform where 4 countries have come to cooperate for their benefit and for the benefit of the world. It is focused on addressing immediate issues of today, ranging from vaccines, supply chains, education, maritime security, climate change, humanitarian assistance, disaster relief, connectivity, infrastructure. It has a shared vision. I mean, the Quad has a shared vision for the Indo-Pacific region that is free, open, prosperous, and inclusive, and is based on respect for international law. I think that nicely sums up जो हमारे विदेश मंत्री एक्सटर्नल अफेयर्स मिनिस्टर कहना चाहते हैं क्वाड के बारे में, and I shouldn't add anything more to that. Thank you. Yeah, just 1 second before I come there. Yes, you are.
सर, रिलेटेड टू पीएम्स यूएस विजिट, एक बैंड आउटफिट ने कहा है कि न्यूयॉर्क से लेकर वॉशिंगटन तक प्रधानमंत्री मोदी के खिलाफ प्रोटेस्ट किए जाएंगे. इस मुद्दे को लेकर क्या हमारी गवर्नमेंट ने अमेरिकन गवर्नमेंट से वॉशिंगटन में स्पेसिफिकली या न्यूयॉर्क में कहा है कि इस तरह के प्रोटेस्ट को अलाउ ना किया जाए?
You had your question, but anyway, I want to add to this. Okay, please, yes, true.
Today there was a report by the Hudson Institute saying that there is a coordination between the Kashmiri and the Khalistani separatist group and supported by the Pakistani ISI. Do we have anything on this trend? And these are the guys who are involved in raising protest and involved into anti-India activities there.
Look, regarding the question of, I don't know the specific comment or the call given by the band outfit, so I'm not going to comment on that certainly. But yes, we certainly take a lot of interest in ensuring that the security of the Prime Minister's delegation is, and we convey and we share with host country, in this case the US. In the organization is banned, they should not be undertaking this kind of activities. I'm not sure we can tell them to stop a protest, but certainly the issue is not about protest, the issue is about security, and these are organizations that have had problems in the past in terms of terrorist activities, etc. So I wouldn't like to go more into detail. Regarding the question that I got from the Hudson Institute, we saw the report today. Yes, clearly that's quite interesting in terms of the analysis it makes and how Pakistan has been yet again continuing to make its efforts in trying to promote activities, undertake activities against India, foment terrorism, as well as, in fact, this is very focused, this report, if I remember correctly, I had a chance to brief look at it, of activities that are taken on American soil. And I do hope that, people in the US authorities risks that this kind of activities pose to all people or all countries that are shared vision against terrorism and violence. I think I'll stop on that one. Yeah, please. Sorry.
Arindam, the Quad vaccination initiative was one of the major outcomes of the virtual summit in March. What's the progress on implementing it? And another question, which is on the SCO summit. No, this is important.
Okay.
On the possibility of a meeting between our foreign minister and the Iranian foreign minister, and is expected to come to India as well.
Let me take your first question on that. And as I said, look, let's stick to one question. So I'll keep the SCO question if somebody else comes on to it. Otherwise, I'll come back to you. Your question, sorry, could you repeat which element you wanted to the first part of it?
No, essentially on the vaccination.
Yeah, what is the progress? No, look, as you heard there, it was an important initiative. But now that we have a Quad meeting, why don't we let the meeting happen, and we'll try to brief you on the substantive elements of it as the meeting happens. This will be a topic of discussion which will come up. So let's wait for that. On the SCO, if anybody else has this element on the SCO? We try to have one question per person. But on the bilateral, look, as I said, External Affairs Minister is in Dushanbe today. And as you know, he utilizes these opportunities to meet his counterparts. And he is always very prompt in sharing that information about meetings and what the conversations have happened. So why don't we just wait and let this progress. Tomorrow is the summit. I promise you we'll try to share with you all the details of his bilateral. Let me not prejudge or commit to them in advance. Okay. I don't have an immediate confirmation that he's coming. There is an interest, and there were some talks of dates, but it hasn't happened. These visits, as you know, we are announced at the appropriate time.